Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PUBG Europe League Contenders Phase 3 promotion. My name is Esquire, and joining me on the casting desk for the lovely set of games will be Imperium. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, Esquire. So this is Stage 1, Day 2, 4 games for you guys. We had yesterday's action, which we won't talk about from a stream point of view. But either way, we are here with a lot of action. Of course, on top of the leaderboard is the side of 3D Max. It is going to be Miramar that's going to be played. SEEKORG and Four Kings closely followed in second and third place overall after Day 1, Esquire.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to talk a little bit about yesterday's performance, Imperium. I mean, we had some big winners come out in yesterday's games. One team that really rings a bell in my mind for consistency is going to be SEEKORG. They were able to find 100%. Themselves in the top 3 positions in 3 out of 4 of the games. And then 3D Max kind of following a little bit short in that consistency, but comboing that with that first place finish with the amount of kills that they were able to rack up. Well, that's why they're at the top of the leaderboards.
I was just going to say their kill points have been absolutely crazy. That's helped them put them on top of the table. As you rightly said, SEEKORG, they didn't even get a chicken dinner as well yesterday, yet they still find themselves in second place. But also, we got to talk about, as this circle is showing up on our screens, is very centralized. It's allowing a lot of teams a lot of space to move around. About 60, 70 teams are inside the circle. So right now it's playing safe. But 8th, 9th, and 10th place overall after Day 1 are all on the same points, which is 20. So there's a lot of positions to play for. Nothing set in stone, of course. It's only Day 1. So I'm interested to see how these teams respond, Esquire.
Certainly, best of 16s really give teams an opportunity to kind of have that flub game, have that game that you can kind of really disregard and say, well, we made some mistakes there. The circles didn't play in our favor, but we've got 15 other games to capitalize on that. Sometimes maybe you can even get 2 of those kind of those bogey games to work with. But around the rest of the map, Miramar will be kicking off here, looking to see some rotations, probably around the 4-minute and 30-second mark for these squads that are outside of the circle. But over here in El Pozo, we are going to have 2 teams colliding onto one another. Why not? As well as the likes of SEEKORG.
Yeah, SEEKORG will look to follow up after a great first day with more action, with more kills. They will want to look to increase the amount of kills they can get. So if they can be a little bit more aggressive, even in the early stages, as they've just gotten a knockdown onto Anna Senpai. However, she created has returned fire, getting that counter knockdown.
Gonna be good trades coming out from both of these teams. Fisky gonna be trying to find the flush, but in doing so, risks it all and ends up going down and out himself as She Created storms in with the AKM and really cleans up shop onto the members of SEEKORG. That's gonna be a good pickup for the members of YNON, especially given the fact that I believe they started with 1 member down. But El Pozo still remains contested as a few of the members of SEEKORG will be lurking on the western side.
Yeah, but they will look to want to get out of there as quickly as possible, as cleanly as possible. As a 2-man team in Miramar, you don't have a lot of space to really kind of... Okay, the land is open, but it's very open. So, you know, as a 2-man team, you put yourself under a lot of pressure to get to and survive to the late game. So SEEKORG will want to do that. As I said, they will want to continue on with a good result that they had yesterday. So getting out of El Pozo, away from Why Not as quickly as possible, my opinion, best strategy to pull out in the early stages of this game.
Definitely, they are going to be doing just that. Taking a look over here at the members of Airwaves, Sadovnik and his teammates will be looting up in the El Azahar area of the map, the northeastern side. Not going to be too heavily contested here as we wait for the final 10 seconds to close out of phase number 1 before that blue zone transition works its way inside. And I mean, Imperium, as we start to work our way through these days, 1 day already being played out. So 4 matches in the books, can't do anything about your performance in those games, whether or not they were good or bad. 3 days left, you have to kind of start to shift things in the right direction if they didn't work out for you. Was there anything that you noticed yesterday that you might be looking to see some teams adjust off of and maybe have some better performances here today?
Other than, as we do see, Philu on the side of SEEKORG, just I'll kind of get to your question because it's a really good question. But SEEKORG, they're not taking my advice. They're looking for knockdowns every second, every chance that they can get with that mini 14 as you see she created. That kill was actually stolen away by another team right there. But either way, yeah, to answer your question though, Esquire, realistically, it's really hard to get a huge spot out as Philo does get taken out by a grenade. It's really hard to get a full idea of what these teams really need to do individually after just one day. But as somebody who just has a bit of experience in terms of managing a team, I would just say try to look to be consistent game after game and then play on board right there. But Forax, the final member of SEEKORG, is looking to get a kill or two as they are under pressure. It's a one-man team.
Solo player left here. Furax trying to line up the frag grenade. Will be landing right up on top of where XHR is. A little bit too far away to find the flush in the down position, but Anna Senpai takes a lot of damage in the process, trying to hide behind the rock to avoid any lines of sight, but the shots continue to come in. M24 prepped up and ready. Grenade will be repped as well as we pop over to Elgiganten Gaming, that is going to be combating against the likes of another team pushing in here to the warehouse. Tricko quickly pulling out to the outside part of the compound. The fence line is where he's going to be holding on to try to hopefully catch some of the members of this squad out of position. I believe this is going to be the Istanbul Wildcats. This is a team that had a good performance yesterday, Imperium. Hopefully they're going to be trying to do that here today, but it is not going to be easy for the early stages of this game.
Well, Istanbul Wildcats, they've experienced in the contenders playing in Group A of Phase 2, but they didn't get out of that phase and head on into the final. So they'll be looking to stake their claim in Phase 3 of the contenders. Elgiganten are currently lying in 14th with only 8 points, but Turku playing like an absolute boss, getting 2 knockdowns of the Anil and CTR.
Going to be a good way to start this engagement off. Elgiganten not going to be working as a full squad, but the trade comes back in as Tricko will be taken down by Slippy Zerg, but is able to at least find some secures on those kills. But no, actually a few going to be stolen away as Futbolist is able to find one on to that squad, and then Tricko going to be killed away as well. So now Power sits in this compound. They were close enough, at least in proximity, to hear these shots going down. Picking up that information is one of the all necessary parts of PUBG, one of the main components, at least of the early stages of the game. As more shots come in, the members of Team Elite are not going to be able to avoid conflict for too long, as I believe that is going to be another squad rolling in here right on their northwestern side of things. Possibly, why not?
Yeah, they need a good result. They're lying in last place with only 1 point, Esquire. You talk about kind of having a bad result or maybe having a bad day and being able to kind of still move on forward with that. That's exactly what Team Elite need to do. They need to have a very strong day. They need to take advantage of the Miramar map. They are right in the center zone. Do not go anywhere, guys, but also stay out of trouble.
And that's one of the biggest things to at least consider as we work our way through the first stage of this tournament. 4 days to be played out, 1 already in the books, 3 more to be played. This is the new point system. A lot of these teams, although they have played a good handful of games so far this year, this point system's new, and a lot of teams' strategies, at least what they've been employing over the last 2 years, has had to make drastic shifts in that regard. 1 point per kill. Compare that to a 10-point takedown if you end up getting that chicken dinner. Well, kills become so much important here in these rounds. And we're going to see teams trying to put that into effect right now as we pop over and look at CRIPS E-Sports. This is another team Imperium has to try to have a big performance here in the next 3 days, but they're not too far behind. That's kind of the exciting part about day number 2.
Of course, there's, like I said, there's so many points still to play for. The top 8 do move on to stage 2 of the Contender Open. So, you know, they're on 7 points in 15th place, but they're only really 13 points behind. That's one good game, right? So there's so much more to play for. They are in the south east side of this map. They're kind of on their own around La Bandita, and they're just inside the circle. So really, they have a lot of chance to kind of flank around and actually catch out the side of EMV and those in the kind of more centralized area of the circle, Esquire.
The Phase 2 shift does come out. Going to be pretty centralized on the Phase 1 central point, but it is shifted down a little bit towards the south. Not too drastic for any teams that were lining up for those centralized positions. But over here, we pop over to a team that, again, is sitting kind of middle of the pack. A lot of room for movement for them to take down a top position going into the middle of the day. It's going to be the likes of Airwaves in rotation, taking shots right now from Moonlight of the Tarlans. We'll be able to avoid it right now, but 3D Max actually going to be lit up in the kill feed on the wrong side of it as the members of the Kings pick up a kill onto Noki.
That's going to be good coming out from 4Kings. They're in 3rd place overall for now, 33 points. So taking out one member of Max 3D is definitely, or 3D Max, my apologies, is definitely an important part of 4Kings climbing up on the ranks. You put a team down to 3 members, it drastically changes their strategy, it changes their play style in each individual game, and as I said, especially in Miramar, Esquire.
You know, Imperium, I'm going to drop some PUBG history on you. Okay. 4Kings actually used to be a team that we saw compete in the North American PUBG scene. They were always in the contenders or just below, like I guess what you would consider the open series, but completely new roster. Don't recognize any of the names. So cool to see that they've at least survived as an organization and shifted over to the EU side of things.
It's funny you mention that because as far as I know, they've actually acquired a team for this.
Excellent.
As far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, guys in chat. Maybe I am wrong, but as far as I know, they've actually acquired this team that are in these qualifiers for the contenders. Again, based on my information and what I found out. But either way, YMCA, they have the high ground. They have good position, but they are taking shots from all around them. They have to be very careful, making sure they are not peeking out too far, Esquire.
The San Martin Ridge down to the south of where the city currently lies is such a good vantage point for teams to line up on. And it's not too high, Imperium, so it actually enables you to be able to get those fatal shots off. A lot of the areas on these Erangel and Miramar maps, certainly you can pick up information, but a little too far off in the distance to find the secures, the flushes, and those kill points. Shots coming off as a rotation is on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And that resilient bus will be able to survive, now blocking the lines of sight. But back to the positioning of YMCA Esports. Definitely in a good spot to possibly even scout out where the 4Kings have lined up. This is a squad with some very familiar names in the PUBG competitive scene for the European region. Sampula, Coyote, and the rest of the squad are no strangers to danger, no strangers to chicken dinners either. And they'll be looking to take them down here as Enviik spots out a team across the road from the graveyard. We'll be putting out those pressure shots in pursuit of phase number 3.
It's not just any team, it's the team of 3D Max. You also have one member of 4Kings also in kind of that compound, as the circle has shifted very much northwards, putting a lot of pressure on the likes of CRIPS E-Sports, Tarlans. Although Futbolist do have that compound, they just have to move a little bit forward. And Enviik, as we were just talking about, one member is looking to scout out. Robin is just using his communication skills to allow the rest of the team to get that information on where he is based and the teams that are around him.
It's a big thing to remember. 3D Max did lose Noki at the onset of this game. Will only be working with 3 members alive. As one of the 4Kings, Phosphord has worked his way inside of this compound. He's not going to be looking to combat against the likes of the 3 members of the first place squad currently on the leaderboards, but will hold until his teammates can either give him the support he needs to combat them or disengage off the compound entirely. Over here, though, a few other teams trying to set up rotations coming in. Multiple squads will be pinched in as the members of the Futbolist trying to dive in will be exploded in the vehicle as the shots come out from Ghost Stars. M4X16 picking up 2 kills right there for the squad of Powerful.
That's a Miramar. That's a Miramar curse of being in a vehicle where you just get lasered out in the open. But we do see Tarlans Moonlight trying to survive, get taken down to about 20 health from the 4 members of CRIPS E-Sports. But in the distance, the team members of Tarlan are looking to support to try and keep himself alive, and obviously maybe even get a squad wipe in the distance at the same time. I do like where Powerful are occupied. They are splitting it 2 and 2. They're going to get nice angles. They have good cover. Of course, they are in the circle.
So back to this compound where 3D Max was previously holding pretty dominantly. They're starting to clear out through all of the buildings. So now 2 are going to be approaching where Phosphor is holding. He tries to get the spray, but it's going to be a little bit too late. Misses his mark and completely alerts 3D Max of his presence. Going to be confirmed, and before he can find the flush on that quick knock, he will be out of the game. Losing 1, 4Kings going down. Phantom picking up 1 kill.
it was always going to be tough for Phosphor, right? You know, going in a 1v4, he tried to get that pre-fire off, but didn't quite work out as Maga on his side of Tarlans gets knocked and gets taken out by CRIPS E-Sports as they're looking to flank around. But then there's Airwaves, where Max Carr blows up and he gets taken out. This is action starting to unfold as we are losing player by player, but still 16 teams are alive.
You know, Imperium, I talk about it a lot. Given the settings that we use in competitive versus what a normal player would face off against if they were to queue into PUBG matches, there aren't a lot of, I guess, connections. There aren't a lot of similarities that players that view can really say, oh, I've been there before. But there are a few, and one of those are vehicular accidents. Everyone has had that happen to them, and you can definitely feel what kind of mental struggle that squad's going to be going through as we continue on here through this game. Next shift comes out. Up towards the north it goes, centered off of the Hacienda del Patron northeastern side of things. Elgiganten sits in the warehouses, wide out in the field, trying to apply pressure off of the teams to the east that look to rotate. But on the hillside, just above Powerful, comes the members of Airwaves looking to try to pick up a power position on the southeastern side.
Well, they are going to want to get in there. They want to go aggressive. It is essentially kind of a 4v2, but one of their members does get knocked down. There's going to be a flush. 3 members of Airwaves do get taken out just like that on the side of Powerful. You saw them flanking around from the 2 angles, Esquire, so they had great cover. They had the cover from the buildings, and I don't think Airwaves really expected it, and kind of got to say, a bit of a mistake coming out from there.
Yeah, Airwaves has 1 member left alive, Macon, and I'm not sure if it's good or bad that he stayed back. He wasn't able to support his teammates, but at the same time, he's now the insurance policy with all 16 teams remaining at the 16-minute and 30 mark of this game. The action certainly, though, has not been absent. 19 players have dropped out, mark that now 20, as our first team drops out. SEEKORG, who was sitting in 2nd place on the leaderboards, right behind Team 3D Max, will be exiting in 16th place position. And if you're watching the kill feeds, as these competitive teams tend to do, where you're starting to line up, well, this could be the big game for you and your squad to capitalize, but it's not going to be going that way, at least for Team Elite, who loses dead, dropped down and out, not able to secure the flush on the knock he had previously gotten.
Kovacs and a member of Team Elite are still alive. That's Abdallah. So they will spot out, and they do know where YMCA are. On a side note, just to give a little bit of fun fact, we have lost the 2 players with the highest kill feed from day 1, which is Forax and Phosphor. They were currently lying and are currently lying on 11 kills each from day 1. So they're going to have to try and improve that on day 2. But that's another knockdown as Team Elite are essentially down to 1 member. Let's see if he can go into that building to hopefully get revived by Kovacs.
Four Kings going to be trying to do the exact same just on the outside of the Hacienda del Patron area. Grenades start to fly in, possibly going to be trying to aim it through the window, but it's not going to be theirs. Instead, it's going to be the members of MJ-Esports who come in with the frag on top of Sampula and Coyote and take them down and out. Out go the Tarlans quickly thereafter. Unfortunately for them, another vehicular accident, this time much more impactful as it wipes out their squad in 14th place. Battles erupting everywhere, though. Imperium, as the members of MJ-Esports look to try to take down their 4th kill.
Yeah, I know we don't have red zone in competitive PUBG, but sometimes when you get those nades being thrown out by these teams, it feels like it's a red zone that you just can't avoid the bombs flying in. As why not? They are getting taken out by MJ-Esports, who are looking to get another strong start to day 2. They're currently lying in 5th place overall with 31 points. However, decided 3D Max. They're using those vehicles for protection. They are getting shot from Istanbul Wildcats and Powerful, all in the distance.
Might have lost a member early on here, but 3D Max is still going to be a force to be reckoned with 3 alive. And that's one of the things here in these squad PUBG matches. You lose 1 member in competitive, you're still going to be okay. 3 members can watch the necessary flanks. Once you start to drop into that 2-member deficit and then the solo player, well, that's where things start to really get roughed. Next shift comes out. It's going to be a little bit off-center down to the southwest off of our previous circle center point, but Hacienda del Patron continues to be the local priority hotspot for the members of Team Elite to hold on to. And this is sort of something that they need, Imperium, but the question remains, will they be able to pick up those kills that they have to combo with placement points to rank up the leaderboards?
Well, there's Enviik and Four Kings that are having to kind of move in. The advantage for Team Elite is that kind of Enviik and Four Kings could actually end up going against each other, and then you're going to be able to pick up the pieces from the squad fight. But then the fear is that the 2 teams could actually jump onto where Team Elite are and actually take their compound. So it's going to be risky for Team Elite. They should just play a little bit safer now, knowing they have their circle, and just respond calculatedly based on what their opponents are. But we do see Rip looking for the team of 3D Max.
Well, he's already found 2 of them. Just going to be 1 remaining, but the rest comes out now. Solar back on his feet, trying to pick up Wago as well. This could be a huge recovery for 3D Max, but there is going to be some pressure coming off of that western flank as Slippy Zerg starts to lob the nades in that direction. The nade meta that teams have encountered here in Phase 2 has been also deadly and also unpredictable for these squads to work off of. Rotation coming out, Solar trying to bob and weave in between these shots. As another squad pulls up, it's going to be the members of the ToxicPlayers aligning themselves just down the hillside where 4 of the Crips are currently in position. Certainly going to see nades from this direction, as well as 3D Max gets spotted out. Wago goes down. Istanbul Wildcats going to be going down as well. This was that approach. We saw them trying to roll up onto the members of 3D Max, but they get third party taken down and punished for it. And out goes 3D Max thereafter. Top 9 going to be secured. 1 more team has to go out before those placement points will start to come into effect.
Yeah, I gotta love what CRIPS E-Sports are doing as a squad right now. They're jumping onto where Toxicity are and just putting them under a lot of pressure. Now, they do need to be very careful of the fact that there is MJ-Esports, so it's kind of like it's a 2-squad v1 situation for now. However, they are responding well, as June does knock down Dexy on the side of CRIPS E-Sports, but as we see, MJ-Esports are getting the counter knockdown on the CRIP.
This is going to be an interesting reset to see if both of these teams will be able to recover off of the casualties that they've already lost at the beginning of it. Coming off of the side of the blue zone, though, Airwaves will be spotted out. Powerful Ghost Star continues to rack up the kill feed. They're going to be sitting on a nice little handful of those in their pockets as the blue zone starts to force the members of the Crips out. And that's going to be MJ-Esports finds the final kills onto the likes of Toxicity. Out they go, 9th place position. Top 8 secured. Placement points coming into effect from here on out, where teams look to capitalize. This circle continues to favor that wide open field where some of the members of Elgiganten Gaming have been holding on to pretty much one of the majority of the compounds here on this side of the map.
Hey, look, the zonal gods have really helped the likes of Elgiganten and Team Elite, as well the final 2 members of ToxicPlayers. As we'd seen, they kind of split into a 2v2, and it has actually paid off. 2 of them were in the zone, and 2 of them were outside the circle, and obviously 2 outside the circle did get taken out before Kings. They're trying to move forward. They're facing damage by MJ-Esports. Crib are also trying to survive as a 2-man team, but they are taking shots from the side of ToxicPlayers who are inside the circle. They're trying to flank around, use the rocks that they have, even go outside the zone, although that's not necessarily a wise choice to do. But right now, Ghost Star has gotten knocked down by Enviik.
Powerful finds themselves in a very tricky position to have to work off of. Ghost Star, one of the power players, the impact players for this squad, will not be able to retreat back to the shack, and out he goes. CRIPS E-Sports as well, having a tough time maneuvering off of that northwestern side of the circle. Will be spotted out by both Elgiganten and MJ-Esports. Out they go. Top 7 now going to be in place as MJ-Esports makes that rotation around the northwestern side of phase number 6. They've got to get inside of the circle. About 100 meters will be keeping them at bay, but you mentioned it. Imperium, this squad, Team Elite, has been able to hold on to Hacienda for the better part of 20 minutes. And they really haven't had anyone pushed into them. That's why they haven't picked up a ton of kills so far. They did lose a member early on, if I recall. But for the most part, passive game. Pick up the kills when you need them in the late game, where you combo it with the placements.
Exactly, that's all they need to do. But Powerful in that shack do get eliminated in 7th place. That was, look, what could they really do? Like I said, when nades fly in, it feels like red zone. There's nothing they could do inside that shack, and they just get wiped out. But MJ-Esports, they flanked around absolutely tremendously. Gotta give them a lot of credit, because they were facing a lot of teams around them, as we see ToxicPlayers along the side of Team Elite as well as Enviik. But they've done absolutely fantastic to get inside this next circle. But for Kings, they're now looking to push in on to where Team Elite are.
Yeah, I think the members of Powerful are are probably going to be thinking about that. I believe Imperium, unless I'm wrong, I think that was their own nade as well that ended up wiping out their entire squad.
Really?
Yeah, that was massively unfortunate. Not sure what happened. We'll have to check the VOD. Hopefully our beautiful producers at StarLadder can get the replay of that or something. But as we shift into the we probably will. Shifting in here to the final parts of this game, though, the 25-minute mark is rapidly approaching, and with 6 teams remaining, 16 players alive, that's less than a 3-player per team average. Holding on with 4, though, the numbers playing in favor, at least of the squad of Enviik, currently sitting in 5th place position coming into this game on the leaderboards. A dominant southern position held. However, they're starting to feel the hurt of this circle, the hurt which is that wide open area that's going to essentially be where things are centering up.
Yeah, but being a 4-man team, they actually can send one person around as a bit of scout, as a bit of a distraction to communicate with the rest of the team on actually where it's safe to move around. And also the slight help that they do have is the fact that Team Elite, who are on the southern west side of this circle, have to move in as well. But either way, MJ-Esports, they are very close to where Elgiganten are. The nades are starting to fly out. They're facing damage from all teams around them, trying to use the vehicle that has been blown up and the hay bales to protect themselves as quickly as possible. Getting the revive onto Mini will be a very good, helpful point for MJ-Esports.
Yeah, I think what you were saying is kind of a good point, except you have to disable those vehicles when you're trying to hide behind them, and MJ-Esports is now starting to at least realize that. Won't make that mistake in games moving forward. But the pressure coming out from Elgiganten Savage will be finding a nice frag grenade onto 2 of the members of MJ. Mini going down once again. Will be bleeding out a little bit faster here as Ohala goes down. Junu just going to be the only member alive, trying to avoid the barrage of hailstorm of grenades coming in from one side, and now the members of Toxic presenting gunfire from the other flank. It's only a matter of time here, I believe, before the members of MJ-Esports will likely exit out of here. The question is, what place will they be able to survive until?
Well, they've just got to try and stay alive as long as possible. Side of Team Elite, they're kind of waiting. They're hoping. They're just waiting, hoping, getting an idea of where the opponents are around them. But they can't take too long because the zone is going to start to shift around, looking for the final players of Four Kings. Iggy in the distance, but can't shoot in between the fence bars. So he's just going to have to try to find a better position so he can get those shots off Esquire.
Team Elite has been a squad that has been able to hold on for a majority of this game without facing off against too much. But as it stands at the 27-minute mark with 3 kills to their name and 2 members alive, they've got to do something. Enviik, able to still keep 4 alive, will be facing off against Elgiganten Gaming for the Barnside building here. As the shots from Hugstar's SLR try to ring 2 with the SLR on top, or the 8 times on top, rather. They'll be trying to find the head taps on the horizon. We'll be unable to do so for right now, so it's just a matter of biding your time and trying to be one of the last teams alive here, as this rotation will be forced, especially from the MJ-Esports location, in just about 3 seconds' time.
Oh, gotta give credit where credit is due to MJ-Esports. They were pinched inside the area, getting nades thrown from all directions, yet they still managed to survive for now as a 2-man team. As Team Elite, Pobax gets knocked down. Abdullah does try to go behind that wall for now and is able to survive, but Pobax does get taken out as Jala does get knocked down from the side of Four Kings.
That's where the struggle really comes into play. Enviik now starting to make that rotation as well. Toxic going to be spotting out the remainder of MJ-Esports, and out they go in 6th place position. 5 teams remaining as the shots continue to at least ring true. Enviik going to be spotting out Hugstar of Elgiganten Gaming. Headshot comes out with a Mini 14, able to find the flush. Now onto another squad. 4 Kings going to be engaged upon, but the squad of Team Elite comes out, tries the third party, but it's not going to be enough. Out they go as Abdallah will be flushed out of the game. 4 teams now left. Enviik looks to take on the likes of Toxic and 4 Kings, as well as Elgiganten Gaming's remaining member, Nellas, on the haystack.
Yeah, Elgiganten looking so strong. They have the best advantage in this situation. Although Enviik, you can't deny what they are going to look to try to do. We still have 4 teams alive. Higgy, the one final member of 4 Kings, looking to get the flush, looking to get the knockdown, those kills. So when you get those kill points, you're going to get the job done. And he has actually taken down 2 members of ToxicPlayers and the whole squad. So we're down to 3 teams, 7 players alive. A 1-man army Higgy was in that situation, but just like that, Enviik win.
There it is. Enviik taking down the first win of day number 2 of stage 1. And that's going to be a 10-kill chicken dinner, 20 points going over to the likes of Enviik. Imperium, if you're going to start a day off, that's certainly way to do it, as they are going to see themselves climbing up the leaderboards. Starting off with that type of momentum is scary if you're one of the other 15 teams in the lobby.
Yeah, and I do want to give a shout out to Team Elite. Yes, they were fortunate in terms of the circle. 100%. It was nearly always inside where they had occupied. But considering the fact that they ended day 1 with only 1 point, Esquire, and they finished in 5th place with 3 kills, I'm all about progression, consistency, and also kind of just taking step by step. That's a huge step in them climbing the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. This tournament, for a majority of these teams, is the most impactful tournament, the most impactful set of PUBG games that they have played in their careers to date. So make no mistake about it. I mean, nerves are on the line here. Stress is going to be high, and the competition in these games is going to be absolutely fierce. But as everything else stands, I mean, we've got 3 more games to play out today, and then 8 more games to play out here through stage number 1. So still a lot of movement for these teams to make, but 4Kings really having a stellar game as well. I think we can't go without mentioning their performance here as well, Imperium.
100%, especially Ziggy, wiped out ToxicPlayers as essentially kind of a one-man team within reason, and was able to just put them in the top 3. And getting those all-important frags, as you talked about earlier, Squire, where it's so important to get those kills. Getting a knockdown, getting the damage is definitely not a bad thing. As you do see, this is exactly what Higgy did to ToxicPlayers, but then Enviik getting the final blows onto Elgiganten, and they do finish it first. So we see 16th to 9th from this game, Esquire.
That's right. 2 teams going to be exiting out of game 1 with 0 points. Futbolist and Tarlans going out in pretty high fashion. Tarlans having 2 vehicular kills right there. One in kind of the early game, and then the other one wiping their squad out, breaching in now into the top 8, though. You could see just what a massive point total Enviik was able to walk away from with this match. Again, 10 points for placement and first place, and 10 points per kills. But 4Kings, again, I'm going to be looking at 4Kings Imperium. For some reason, they've kind of caught my eye in this. And I'm going to be seeing what they can compete against, especially with 3D Max kind of falling back a little bit here in the first game of the day.
Exactly like Enviik getting 10 placement points, 10 kill points, being 20 in total. That's gonna push them up the placement standings. And the fact that they were lying in 8th, because there's going to be so many positional changes that are going to happen throughout the days, the most important part that in my opinion we need to talk about is how much of a point difference you can actually create against the teams around you. So you want to make sure that you have a buffer of points ahead of the teams behind you, so that if you have a bad result, you're still staying in that position.
Well, no surprise here looking at the kill leaders for match number 5 out of 16 for stage 1 of this tournament. 2 of the members of Enviik find themselves sitting in the top 3. It's going to be Rip with 4 kills and Robin with 5 kills as we transition over here to the damage leaders. And again, no surprises to see Enviik in the top 5 with 2, Faye and Robin. So good for them. MJ-Esports also going to be showing up here. 4Kings, there you go, 3rd and 5th as you work your way down. Elgiganten Gaming, Imperium, from that barn position, granted having to make that rotation across the wide open field ended their hopes and dreams in that game. But they were able to put out so much damage from that spot. It enabled them to be really a huge factor in other teams not being able to get past them.
Yeah, exactly. And they just occupied their positions so effectively, and they did position themselves in a way where they were able to protect themselves for so long, and full credit to them. And then I also got to give a shout out once again to MJ-Esports. In that late game, they were potentially pinched a lot harder when they looked to flank around, but they positioned very effectively. They got that kind of hay barn open area, and they still managed to survive for as long as they could. After getting knocked down a couple of times, they were still able to get those revives off.
That they were. Well, that's going to be it. Game number 1 of day 2 of stage 1 is in the book for the PUBG Europe League Contenders Phase 3 promotion. We'll be back with the 6th match of the tournament, or the 2nd match of today, at 45 after the hour. Stay tuned. Myself and Imperium will be right back for more commentating action.